Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saviryam Karvavai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Deva Maheshwara Guru Deva Param Tasmai Shri Gurave Chinmayam Vyapiyat Sarvam Trailokyam Sacharacharam Tatpadam Narshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Om Shri Chin Sakurave Namah. Om Shri Chin Sakurave Namah. Om Shri Chin Sakurave. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. 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 Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya. Actually, it's a beautiful time to be reflecting on Ramchandraji because we have Ram Janmabhoomi being reconsecrated next week. So this was the birthplace of Sri Ram was turned into a temple. And then through the different invasions that India has gone through, the temple was actually broken down and they built a mosque in the same place and then some years later, I don't know the exact history actually, they broke down the mosque as an anger that they broke down our temple first. And then I think for something like 50 years, it just was an empty piece of land with rubble all over. Because Hindus didn't allow the mosque to get rebuilt. Muslims didn't allow the Hindus to rebuild the temple. So it's a humongous celebration. It's almost been 100 years since Ram's place of birth will once again be a temple. And so it's very, very nice at the moment if you're in India, because I've just come back from India. You can really feel, or definitely in the ashram, you can really feel the sense of come to Ayodhya. Like it's you can really, it's so beautifully tangible, this joy of come to Ayodhya. And so even this very name Ayodhya, which I don't know if I've already mentioned, Yuddha means war. Ayodhya means a place where there's no war, or a place where there's no conflict. And so Ram is born in Ayodhya, which is so significant. When is divinity born? Divinity is born where there is no conflict. And interesting that this has gone on for 100 years. What's gone on for 100 years? Conflict. Mosque, temple, mosque, temple, mosque, temple. The very name of Ayodhya is where there is no temple, then alone divinity can be born. Now they've come to this understanding, and they are building a mosque. Right? It's not that they're not building a mosque, they are building a mosque. It's just that this is the place where Ramchandraji was born. And so much joy that's once again becoming a temple. And so that's next week, 22nd June. Jack. So even right now when we were in the ashram, we were with Puja Guruji, and Guruji's a Ram Bhakt, so even more excitement. There was just Ram bhajans and Ram dhunis the whole time you sat in Guruji's room. It was just Shri Ram Jai Ram. He was even just playing with the word Ram, 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 Ram. He was just playing with the word Ram, singing the whole day long. It was so beautiful, the joy and the devotion. And so this is the whole point. Why do we teach the story of the Ramayana? Because we've talked about the beginning of the Ramayana, nobody believes Ramchandra is God, and then that's how the story starts. But why? Why do this whole story about Ramayana? And actually, you're going to listen to it if you do believe Ramchandra is God, right? It's and then even if there's a nagging in you that's saying, no, maybe he's not God. There's a nagging in you that's maybe he is God, so let's just listen. But why have the story of the Ramayana? Katha means story, is one of the most effective ways to create emotion. And so very often in the spiritual field, Vedanta is what we normally teach, the Gita, Advaita, this, you are Brahma and the world is Maya. It gets described as to being very dry. So, something like if something happens in your life and you go into karmas and this is reaction and then this is all Maya, so no need to be bothered about it. And it's all the mind and you have to change your perspective, and then it's considered very dry. Yeah. And then bhakti is considered, the word used is rasa. Bhakti has rasa. Vedanta is Gyan. There's no rasa. And for those of you who are familiar with the Hindi language, rasa means gravy, soup, juice, amras, juice, right? And then for taste to happen, you need it to be wet. You need the food to be wet. If the food's very dry, taste doesn't happen. But when the fruit is juicy, tastes so much better when the fruit is juicy. Even you bite into a burger, veg burger, of course. And then, the sauce is dripping down and you're catching it. And that's a good burger. So it's the juice or the rust. Basically, it's the rust that makes it tasty and makes it enjoyable. And so bhakti is considered rust. In the spiritual part, bhakti is considered the rasa. It's considered the taste. It's considered the beauty. And in our lives, really, what's the beauty? Emotions. So even poetry, if you talk about poetry and the poems about some tree, who's going to read the poem about a tree? But then you change it into, there is that well-forwarded one, right? That this boy swings on the branches when he's a kid. And as he gets older, he took girlfriend, proposed. And as he got older, he leaned against it to read his book. And as he got older, the grave was. And now the tree becomes poetic worthy. Why? Because now all these emotions, playing fun, romance, and then, this coming closing circle of death. Emotions bring rust, this joy. Emotions bring entertainment. And so our mind constantly wants entertainment. If you think about your day, your mind is looking for entertainment. And so marketing companies and social media companies really do such an effective study of how our mind wants entertainment. And so static picture is not enough. It needs to move. Then we get very intrigued. So now Instagram is everything moving. Yeah. Even if it's a still picture, they'll put something there to make it move. We're constantly looking. And then let's say nothing. Let's say you're on the flight. Even on the flight, you're watching a movie on entertainment, right? Let's say flight is full and your TV is busted. Some people would get so upset, huh? They'd want a refund on their ticket. I've seen how people get so aggravated when the TV is busted. Why? Because we want entertainment. Somebody like me gets on and switches it off because there's just nothing good on there. So then what will we do? Even if you're somebody like me and then you switch it off, you start planning some project. Somebody said something. This memory. Next Balvihar book. How I'll do the artwork. The mind doesn't just sit still. But this is all very constructive thinking. Usually it's daydreaming thinking. Next holiday. Being to Italy, being to Switzerland, where should we go now? Then you dream up when you'll go, where you'll go, what you'll do, what you'll see. Meet a person, what you'll discuss with them, how much fun you'll have with them. Even if it's just family, right? Of course, if you knew love, then wow, that daydream takes off a whole. It's very different. It's way more entertaining, right? So let's say now, very nice holiday y'all have. Very, very nice family holiday. So many things went so beautifully. And then towards the end, somebody makes one remark about, I have to do all the work on the family holiday. Nobody else does any work. So beautifully, the whole 4 days went, 5 days went. Now this person made this remark and they went. What do we think about now? The whole flight back home? How dare they say? They only such bullies. They only want to do everything their way, so we let them do it their way, and now they complain. Why are we stuck on that? Why didn't we think? What is it that we will think about? The thing that entertains us. If during the family holiday, what entertained me was my cute new grandkid, oh, then this comment, gone. These people, they keep making comments. What word? I'll sit there on the flight thinking, my grandkid is the best grandkid. You know, so intelligent. No, I'm telling you, more intelligent than other kids. And such a kind heart, huh? How old? 2 months. No, really, I think it's a very special soul that's come to our family. Whole flight, what will entertain me? The thing that I find entertaining. But now, let's say no grandkid, which is so cute and such a pure soul. What else find entertaining? How dare they say that? Then I go through a check in all of my lifetime. All the things they said that were just terrible. They're just terrible. Because we entertain. But this makes me upset. Yes, it's making me upset. But I'm entertained. My upset entertains me. Even I noticed earlier, I used to sulk. It's a well-known fact now since COVID. I've told you all my whole life story. Why? Entertained by my sorrow, by my poor me syndrome. Poor me, I have to go through this. They're just not seeing my worth. Entertained by feeling bad. Entertained by being angry. Angry is very entertaining. So, insulted, angry, usually entertained. Grief, I would not say is entertaining. When we go through grief, it's really horrible and serves a purpose. It's a normal human emotion. But so many of our other emotions are just entertaining, huh? Jealousy, oh, super entertaining. So, our mind looks for entertainment. Where will it look for it? Absolutely anywhere. So Netflix, novels, but best people in our life. I've been in the company of other people when their phone rings in the car, it connects automatically, and that person on the other side doesn't know I'm sitting in the car, and the greeting is, "What's the goss?" Not "How are you?" What's the goss? Because that's the most entertaining. Even I've met people and they'll ask me, "How are you?" And I'll say, "I'm fine." No, don't be so boring. I'll know what's happening in your life. Who's troubling you? And you must know what's happening in every life. Everybody's life. Hell no. I do know what's happening in every life. Very entertaining. But it's so. Why do we teach the Ramayana? Since the mind likes entertainment, entertain it. The story of Ramayana is entertaining. You've got all the emotions. You've got all these relationships. You have all these events. You don't really have character arcs, which is in Mahabharata, maybe a little bit more character arcs. Makes it a little bit more dynamic. Ramayana, they don't have some character arcs. Means they start with a flaw, they overcome it, and then they become better. Ramchandraji is perfect. You can't get better than perfect. He just stays perfect the whole time. But interesting. So I'm not sure where we got to the point in the story, but by and large, you all are saying that Vishwamitraji has come to the palace and asked for Ramchandraji and Lakshman to go into the forest. Dashrath Maharaj is horrified because he doesn't want to part with Ramchandraji. And I'm pretty sure at one point I did talk about attachment. And when Dashrath Maharaj got the boon from Lord Vishnu, he said, "I don't want to know that you, my son." Whereas Kaushalya Mata says, "I want to know that you are my son." So basically, Dashrath Maharaj says, "I don't want to know ignorance." Kaushalya Mata is, "I want to know knowledge." So when things are happening in the story of the Ramayana, Dashrath Maharaj collapses very quickly. He freaks out very quickly. Why? Ignorance. When we are in ignorance, it makes us weak. In ignorance, we get attached. Attachment makes us weak. Knowledge and detachment makes us strong. So Dashrath Maharaj gets very upset. No, don't take my baby. But finally, Vasishta reminds him that the astrologer came and said this is the time he'll get married, so you have to send him. Don't you want him to get married? Yes. Okay, send him. So now they go into the forest. And I think I said this also. See, the thing is, we're doing Ramayana in Bhavya class, and I took like 3 classes at different stages of the story, and so I really don't remember which one we are. Did I talk about how they got the mantras of how not to eat? They didn't get hungry,
Yes.
right? They didn't get thirsty. They didn't have to sleep, and how powerful mantras are. We did speak about that, right? Power of the mind. Yeah. So, and then Vishwamitra also introduced him back to all the weapons, all the celestial weapons. I think we did do all that. Yeah. Now first person he meets is Tārakāsura. Yes, correct. I'm saying the name right. Sometimes my NRI Balvihar teachers changed the pronunciation of the name to be Japanese. Tataka. Tataka. Tādaka. Tādaka. The is there. And she represents false expectations. We speak about false expectations? No. This is unanimous decision. We did not speak about false expectations. Okay, maybe we didn't. So, story-wise, she's huge. She's a demoness, Asura, and she's huge. And Asuras have the ability to change the way they look. And so they always make themselves look good. And it's very interesting because when we watch cartoons and movies, they always make the Asura look ugly. But Asuras always looked good. When somebody looks good, we get attracted. Depending on how good they look, not only attracted, we get distracted. I was just in this teenage camp. Well, the teenagers were there, so we did class with them. Oh my goodness me. Hormones when they hit. So this was the teenage class. Huh? There was 15 of them in the class. They're not even that old, 12 and 13-year-old chukkus. One boy from which country doesn't matter. One girl from which country doesn't matter. Only met second day. This is my class. Huh? While I am talking, this is the the whole class. Oh, yeah. And I'm sitting there watching this. Like, what do you even say to them? Like, if they talk to each other, you can say, stop talking. What do you say to this? What do you say? This is so Bollywood. It was so fun. Like, I've had so many classes where girls and boys are attracted to each other. I've never had this, huh? Full on, like, look down. Smile. She's very sweet and pretty. He's very tall and handsome. But what is there? You cannot pay attention. Why? Distraction. Attraction, okay. Distraction, not good. Asuras. Who are asuras? Those that find joy in sensual pleasures. That's all of us, huh? Aren't we very good looking? They deliberately make themselves look good. Asuras deliberately make themselves look good. I could do a whole talk on this about fashion. Plastic surgery. Interesting, no? In sattva, sattva is the quality of spiritual peacefulness, clarity, knowledge, kindness. You don't be anything you're not. In sattva, there's zero pretentiousness and there's complete ownership of who we are, not portraying other than what is. And that in itself is beautiful. But in Asura tendency, we beautify and then project. This is why I'm emphasizing this. Because we think Asuras are some, like even in the Balvihar class, we'll say demons. Like there's different species. They're not different species. What are Asuras doing? Beautifying and projecting. We see it happening day in, day out. It's an Asuric tendency to portray it as beautiful. Why to portray it as beautiful? Because beautiful will attract. So many times people will even say to me, why you wear so much makeup? I feel more confident. Portray to attract. Why do I want to lose weight? I feel more comfortable, attractive. I feel better about myself. Why does it matter? Why do I feel better about myself? I look better. I get more attention. Wanting to attract. Tādaka does this. Actually, all of them do this. Asuras tend to very often do this. We'll see later on in the Ramayana also. Shurpanaka does this. We see in Bhagavatam, Putana does this. They put on the appearance of beautiful. This is an interesting thing when we put on an appearance. Let me go back to Sattva is when there's no pretentiousness. Again, now I was just in India and we were in the ashram, and the Vibhuti ashram is near the village. Bombay ashram is city, Bombay, far. You sit in Bombay ashram, you see Bollywood, you see fashion show, you see all the who's, you see everything under the sun in Bombay ashram. But Vibhuti ashram is a little bit far away, and it's in the village, and it's beautifully quiet, and it's nestled with all these hill-capped mountains and very pretty. And so, but the workers have to come into the ashram for cleaning. And so we were sitting for breakfast, and she walked in, Didi. All the workers are Bhaiya Didi, Bhaiya Didi. And just the way she walked in. And then the person in the ashram, the manager in the ashram, was telling me that, that she's lost her husband and she's bringing up 4 kids. And one of them had to quit school during COVID because times were so tough. But she's doing such an amazing job. And now the other 2 are definitely in school. And we've also been helping out in terms of the ashram. But even as she walked in, no beauty queen, auntie, 100% pakka auntie. Her weight, her stance, her walk, her hair, her bindi, her ring, everything said auntie. But the minute she walked in, it was like somebody who has gone through hardship and has come through it. You can see it in the way she walks. And she came, she did pronounce, she greeted. There's so much character in just that one action. Nothing's being projected. It's just who she is. I'm sure you all know what I'm talking about. And interestingly, we see it more in worker class. Even here in Hong Kong, who will we see this in? We can see their face. We can see their life journey on their face. They're just who they are. And every single one of us will find it beautiful. Like even when she walked in and you think, wow, strong woman, beautiful. You can see the character. You can see her holding responsibility. And then we see beautify, project. It may attract, it may even distract, but it doesn't have depth, it doesn't have strength. So sattvic quality, Devic quality is truth of who we are shines. And that's the beauty. In asuric quality, we project what we think to be attractive. Now, the reason we don't want asuric quality is because if I'm projecting to be beautiful, am I really beautiful? It's a trick question. I'm warning you. So I'm projecting to be beautiful, right? I do my hair, get tattooed eyeliner, lose a ton of weight. Am I beautiful? Some of you are saying no. Some of you not answering. I need you all to think. I need you all to answer. Am I? I am beautiful. Do I know I'm beautiful? I'm just modeling to beautiful. What do you think? You're still thinking. I think I'm beautiful. Then why am I portraying? That's an interesting thing. That's what people will say. I just want to.
What if it's like a small bit? Like, it's not like
Please shower and comb your hair. I'm not saying do absolutely nothing. Please shower and comb your hair. Brush teeth also, please. You could have to look at it. Yeah,
It could be your social class.
It could be a social
By
class.
not doing it, you're disappointing.
Sure. I'm not saying do it or don't do it. I'm trying to show you asuric quality and the outcome, Devic quality and the outcome. I'm saying now when we project, are we beautiful?
No.
We don't think we are. If we have to change what we actually showing, that assumes I don't like what's actually there. So yes, it might be my job. Yes, it might be all of that. And I'm not saying don't do it. I know y'all live in the world. I know y'all have to do it. Even as a Swamini, I can't just look totally jungly. Y'all won't come for class. I have to comb hair. That's about as all I do. But I combed. See, it's combed. Washed also. So, when we portray asuric quality, we disguise or we use something and then we project. We're not feeling the joy of it. I'll give you an easier example. Let's say family event or something, and then you're pretending to be happy. How are you? Great. But are you actually feeling happy? Why pretend? For whatever reason. But point is, wouldn't it better to actually be happy? Or we pretend to be kind. I'm such a nice person. Wouldn't it be better to actually be kind? Like, what benefit do I get from pretending is other people's opinion. But what benefit do I get from actually being it is my benefit. I benefit when I'm actually experiencing. When I portray it, I've only benefited from other people's opinion. That too, some see through it. Even the best of us, some see through it when we pretend.
So by that logic, you could make yourself look beautiful for yourself.
Yeah, why would you? Are you looking at yourself?
Like keeping a clean house, you want to.
Clean house is fine. You're looking at it. It would be feel good. It wouldn't be look good. Because we're not sitting and looking at ourselves.
You do. People take photos all the time.
But there's still a difference. That social conditioning of how I should be and this looks good. It's very different to when I feel good. And I know this to be a fact because people take lots of photos of me and I refuse to feel bad about how I look. I've just refused. And they'll be so happy they have a photo of me. They're happy? Then why should I be sad? They're happy they have a photo with me. Why I must sit there and think, I don't look good in that angle is bad. This makes me look bad. I'm loved. They want a picture with me. We can say we do it because we're photographed. We do it to make ourselves feel. But this is all social conditionings. We don't sit and look at ourselves, but we do feel. We're constantly feeling ourselves. We're constantly feeling what we're thinking in our heads. So if I'm actually kind, I'm actually patient, I'm actually joyful, and I'm feeling it and I'm benefiting from it. So Tadaka makes herself look very beautiful. And there's this whole conversation about not killing women and protecting women. I don't know, in today's world, people might think it to be more. Today's world, everyone's become a little bit unusual, no? It assumes women are the weaker gender if they need to be protected. There was a rule, Kshatriyas never killed women. So, something I guess like even in the army, you don't kill women and children. I don't know if today's world, it still doesn't feature anymore, no?
They use phones now.
So just kill everyone. So I'm not going to go into that discussion, but that does feature there. And I guess it was a sign of the times. It was the social norms at that time. But what that whole discussion really emphasizes is Ramchandraji's understanding of what were the social, what was considered to be dharma, what was considered to be right, and he adhered to it. But Vishwamitra said she's an asura and she is causing havoc and you need to kill her. And then he listens to Guru. And so this is also another very important thing. When we have living master, you have these set of rules. You listen to person because they can decipher situation and apply the rules the best. And so a lot of Ramayana is how Ramchandraji really does give Guru that beautiful importance. Again and again, you'll see this. Maybe not so much in the lives of Krishna, because Krishna shows I am God. But Ramchandraji, who shows I am man, really gives so much respect to Guru. So he shoots, and Taraka is destroyed immediately. Now she has two sons, Marich and Shubhahu. So she represents false expectations. What did Shubhahu represent? Marich represents sorrow. Moha. I think Shubhahu represents Moha. It's been a while since I revisited this. So he kills Taraka, he kills Shubhahu, and he shoots Marich 800 yojanas away. So they are in Ayodhya. Ayodhya is near Delhi. He shoots Marich with an arrow that takes him to land in Bombay. So you see this phenomenal strength and power of Ramchandraji's bow and arrow. Sorry, arrow, not bow. He's arrow. But here we're going to focus more on the story of how Marich and Shubhahu and Taraka get killed. We're going to focus on the symbolism of it. So she represents false expectations. So firstly, expectation means, interesting how to define the word expectations. We think it's going to happen with expectation. And most people will immediately in a philosophical life say, don't have expectations. Please know it's not possible. It's not possible to live life without expectations. Even all of you turned up today for class, you had expectation. One, that class will be there. Two, that I will say something intelligent. I'm trying to say something intelligent. You have expectation, right? Otherwise, you wouldn't turn up. You go to a restaurant, you have expectation. The food's going to be of a certain quality. You go to the hairdresser, you have expectation, and when it's not met, you do not go back to that hairdresser. The other day, that one kid, teenage guy, he came and his hair was, oh my gosh, so short, so short. And he was so angry that the barber cut it so short. He's like, I'm never going back there. He's ruined it. I'm like, but it'll grow. But I'm cold. And then he did a Spider-Man design. The things they do, huh? I was actually quite intrigued. I kept looking at the hair. I get a full web. But I've sat so long to sit and do that. But we have expectation of, and when they do what they want to do and we don't like it, that's not false expectation. That's just normal. We have expectation. And we get onto the flight. We have expectation. All the security checks have been done. The flight is safe. Of course, we have to have that expectation. We leave our kids with babysitters or teachers or medical practitioners. We obviously have an expectation that they will be looked after. Now, what is false expectation? That I'll get what I want. Let's try with that. No, that I'll get what I want is not a false expectation. That I'll always get what I want. We do get what we want sometimes, right? I'll always get what I want is a false expectation. Can you see what's a false expectation means? It's just not going to happen. So many things. The easiest example to give you all is expecting lemons to be sweet. You got lemons, you made lemonade, different story. But actual lemon, will it be sweet? You added sugar, very good. But will the lemon ever be sweet? To expect the lemon to be sweet is false expectation. Put sugar, have lemonade is not false expectation. But you have to put sugar, right? Then it's no longer false expectation. Actual lemon will be sweet. I'll give you the biggest false expectation we have, which we do every single day. Actually, y'all tell me. Let's see if y'all can get it. Why are you laughing? People will change. I don't know how people expect other people to change. Guruji says it best. Have you changed? Little bit. Did we work on it? Did we want to change? This person, you want them to change? Do they want to change? Are they working on it? Will they change? Yet, so many foolish people will even enter into the relationship thinking they will change. Why would you enter into the relationship thinking you'll change? That's just like the most deluded you can get. Okay, now you're already in the relationship and you're hoping they'll change. Okay, you can hope. But don't expect. At some point, if I really love them, won't they change? 1% chance, maybe. My question is, do they want to change? Are they working at change? You and I both know, because we are spiritual seekers, we want to change. Don't we want to change? We working at changing? And how much did we change? No, come on, seriously. I want to be detached. I really want to be detached. I'm detaching. Detaching from children, from husband, from parents. I'm detaching. How much do we actually detach? Here's me wanting to detach. Here's me trying to detach. And how much do I actually detach? I let them go to Balbir. But I went with them. So little, right? Wanting to change, working towards change, our change is as much. And then here we are expecting them to do full 180-degree turn. No, it's false expectation only. So, will they change? If they change, bonus, just don't expect it. Yet we live our life on the premise that they will change. Parents do it with kids, kids do it with parents. We think they'll change. We think our parents will change. They'll get better suddenly. Oh. We do it with spouses. Yeah. More with family members than other people. But we definitely do it. Sometimes with close friends also. They'll change. They'll suddenly like me. They'll suddenly be kinder. They'll suddenly be more patient. They'll be able to control their anger. How? How will they suddenly be able to control their anger? No. False expectations is when expectations are fine. Please know, expectations are fine. When they are unreasonable ones, it's a false expectation. Too much means? Yeah, we no, but we're expecting something that cannot be. It's like expecting ice to be warm. I know it does burn, but it's still cold. It's expecting summer to be cold. It's unreasonable.
Expect.
Yeah.
Like expect we grow up.
Yeah. Expect the kid to grow up is not a false expectation.
Grow up nicely.
We can hope grow up nicely. But if they're tantruming all the time, then to expect they'll grow up nicely, but they're tantruming all the time. Or just anything, right? We expect, what's another very false expectation? But this is a bigger one. This is huge. And then like she said, to expect that I'll never fail. I'll never be sad. I'll never go through difficulty. Often, right, people will ask me, so everything will be all right, right? You say everything will be all right. I very rarely will say it. Because it's a false expectation. How can everything be all right? Whose life everything is all right? Such a person doesn't exist. It's a false expectation. But nobody will ask. Actually, what we should expect is there'll be problems. I'll get through them. Very reasonable expectation. There'll be disagreements. We'll work through them. Very reasonable expectation. Even now, Chinese New Year, astrology has started. Somebody just told me, for next year, you will have lots of arguments. Oh, no, you won't have arguments. Have sweet discussions with people. If I expect everyone will always agree with me, false expectation. I expect other people will have a different opinion from me, but we'll be able to work out a mutual safe space. Usually you can. Some are very adamant. Even those you learn how to negotiate. But to expect everyone will always agree with me, expect everyone will always like me, how? How will everyone always like me? Do I like everyone? Then how is everyone going to like me? Interesting that we expect from others what we ourselves don't do. But I have valid reasons for not liking these people. They speak in that very annoying voice. Such a valid reason I have. Expect. So what these false expectations are born out of delusion. We don't have clear thinking. Delusion means we're not able to see things as they are. Obviously, not everyone's going to like me. Obviously, not everything's going to be okay. And to want it is delusion. To want something you cannot have is ensuring suffering. It's not possible for everyone to always like me. So to want it is to ensure I'm going to be miserable. So marriage is the suffering. Suffering that comes with false expectations. Subahu is that delusion, but I actually think it's going to be there. So Ramchandraji kills Tadaka, false expectations. As spiritual seekers, first thing to do, you've gone into the forest. This is our spiritual journey. We leave the comfort of home and we go into we've started our journey. Our first obstacle, our first battle is destroy false expectations. Destroy delusion. See it for what it is. See it as it is. And then suffering gets thrown far away. From Delhi to Bombay. Gone far away. But it wasn't killed. Sorrow and suffering wasn't killed. It was pushed far away. Why? It comes back. You just said there can be no life without a bit of suffering. That's what I said. How? How is it possible that we will never suffer? Somewhere we'll have a reasonable expectation. Reasonable expectation. Mom will always be there for me. Reasonable expectation. Sometimes she can't be. Not because she doesn't want to be. She might be a very genuinely loving, amazing mom. COVID happened, they couldn't reach, right? Or illness happens. Something happens. So I had expectation. It was reasonable expectation, but it still wasn't met. I'll have something. This also is, it's there, it's right. I'm so diligent with whatever. Maybe a relationship, maybe work, maybe health, but then still things go wrong. Yeah, happens. Maybe circumstances are beyond our control, or even just by doing the right thing, sometimes things still go wrong. So suffering cannot be 100% destroyed. It's pushed. Takes long to come back. Then next time when Marich comes in the Ramayana, he's killed. But it's such a nice symbolism. Kill delusion completely. Delusion is this what gives birth to false expectations. And then what aggravates it, right? Like, so if I want somebody to change and then I really keep thinking, of course they'll change. They should change. Suddenly I've become an expert on what they should be. They should be like this. They should talk like this. They should say like this. It should be like this. Should. This word should is very, very dangerous. No, really, this word should is very, very, very dangerous. Because it makes us feel we have this right. Should another person change? They like the way they are. Exactly. We don't like the way they are, but they like the way they are. So then why should they change? They don't have to change just to suit us. They also thinking we should change. And we thinking, why should I? We thinking they should change. They thinking, why should I? Suffering. So much suffering. See it for what it is. They are the way they are. They're not going to change. At least don't be deluded about it. Like sometimes, maybe in a relationship, we want the other person to compliment the way we look. But this person just never compliments. And we get extra dressed up and go and stand in front of them. They're not going to say anything. Say, no, I look good. Oh, yeah, okay, you look good. We get even more angry. See it for what it is. They don't see it. They're not going to say anything. Guruji says this very cute thing. He's like, if you want praise and nobody's praising you, you praise yourself. They're not praising, right? You want praise. You praise yourself. So you get dressed up and you say, I look very good. Delusion is not seeing it for what it is. When we see it for what it is, that's what it is. Yeah.
You can have, like, worse than that. You can have someone who's always criticizing you, or telling you look bad. Or,
Yeah.
you know, so not just wanting them to change because you want something, but because what they're doing is so negative. or
Hurtful.
maybe- Yeah.
If they're always telling you, you look.
Or whatever.
Yeah. Criticizing behavior or intelligence or your talent or the way you do things. But if that's who they are, that's who they are.
And you can't have any expectations, so
You cannot have expectations, they will change.
even if they're hurting.
Even if they hurt you. You can change how seriously you take it. Close your ears. That you cannot change. So there's, typical it's them. It can be any scenario. It can be husband, wife, it can be siblings, it can be. But I've seen one situation where whatever the daughter wears, the mother will say, you could have done it like this. You should have worn like this. It could have been better. So she goes, meets mom. I know, I'm dressed terribly, right? Interesting, when you make peace with things, you come up with a way to cope. But when we let it nag, it just keeps nagging. Because why? We letting it nag at us. They're not going to change. Doesn't matter if it's hurting me or not hurting. They're not going to change. And in fact, the Tiger Mom books is basically this, right? If I don't push them, they won't improve. So they have their reason for doing it also. Or maybe not. Maybe it's their insecurity. Maybe they insensitive to understand how much it's hurting you. Doesn't matter what the reason is. Expecting them to change is false expectation. Has to be destroyed. Even the smallest iota of it in our mind has to be destroyed. Okay. Time's up. Yay. We killed 3 asuras.
Telling them or discuss.
No need. Parents should guide children. So if parents are guiding children on behavior, that's fine. But let's say your parents are, leave them. We already know, right?
You see these old people and they're so unhappy and they're so miserable. Why not enlighten them to be happier? Like,
Because they don't want to be. If they wanted to be happy, they'd be happy. Please know that, huh? Can anyone keep you miserable? Unless you want to be? And when you're happy, can anyone make you miserable? You choose to let them. They want to be. In fact, sometimes with the older people, they feel they're entitled to their misery now. I've suffered so long. Leave me alone with my suffering now. Interesting to watch how different people age. We should watch. We should be aware. We should choose how we want to age. And if you want to age a certain way, you have to start doing it now. It won't suddenly happen when you're old, huh? You have to start doing it now. Any other questions? Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukhabhag bhavet, asato ma satgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityo ma amritangamaya. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevamshishyate. Om Shanti Shanti. Hare